Hello and welcome back to the Just Okay podcast. Yippee! Woohoo! So sorry. Yeah, it's just a solo pod today. But what you gonna do? What you gonna do, boys? I don't know. Life is good. I have a recent frustration. It's not a recent frustration. I feel like anytime someone does this, it frustrates me and then I forget about it till it happens again. I hate when people are getting rid of things and they show you it and they're like, oh, if you don't want it, just throw it away. I'm like, no, you're now passing off stuff that you want to get rid of, aka garbage, onto me so you don't have to be the one to throw it away because you feel guilty throwing clothes away and you don't want to go to Goodwill. So you're giving it to me so I can do the dirty work for you. No, thank you. And every time it happens, it's something I don't want or like doesn't fit me and I can't use. Thank you for asking me. I would love to always be asked because one man's trash is another man's treasure. What yada, yada, yada. But like giving me the responsibility of now handling the stuff you don't want to handle is a little annoying. You know what I mean? What I like to do with friends, if I'm getting rid of stuff, I'll let them come over and look at it and then I'll keep it and then I'll eventually take it to Goodwill or, God forbid, throw it away. I'm not throwing clothes away necessarily, but you know what I mean? That happens a lot with me. Maybe I just have the face for it. Maybe I just have the face of give me handy-downs and I'm responsible enough to throw out trash. I'm not though. I'm not. I'm pretty good at household chores. I do dishes. I'm so good at dishes. Is it because I'm Mexican? Maybe, but I don't even hand wash a dish, so I'm really white about it. Like, my boyfriend's a white man, and he hand washes dishes. Meanwhile, I don't know how to fucking do that. I use the dishwasher. I'm so good at pressing the dishwasher button. I'm really good at it. Though, I don't know if I'm that good at the dishwasher, because sometimes, you know what? I leave stuff on the dishes when I put it in. I'm pretty bad about washing it off before, but, I'm good at putting it away. Good at putting away the dishes. I think that's what we have now realized. I'm okay at laundry. For me, laundry is like a 2-day process. See, I end up putting it in the washer. Might take a while for me to move it to the dryer. I move it to the dryer though. And once it gets out of the dryer, once I remove laundry from the dryer, it has at least minimum of 12 hours of just sitting on the floor. And that can go on for days. Is it clean? Yes, and that's how I know because I only leave clean clothes on the floor till I'm washing clothes because I don't have 2 baskets, so I just have a pile of dirty clothes. But it's in the same area the basket goes inside, so I know those are dirty clothes. I have my dirty clothes on the floor in an area, and I have clean clothes on the floor in an area. They're different. It's organized chaos in my head. I think I have very type A qualities, but also type B qualities. Like, I'm very organized in my own chaos. Everything has a place to go. Is it like understandable for other people? To be determined later. But for me, I get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Today's been a long day. This morning I read a headline and it pissed me off. I think my newest op and my number one op right now is Mitch McConnell, you Voldemort looking ass bitch. I'm gonna look in the camera. I've been looking at my little viewfinder to look at me. No, this goes in the camera. Mitch McConnell, you Voldemort looking ass bitch. I don't care that you're an elder. I don't care that you're 83. You know what? I do care that you're an elder because you are too old to be serving this country. I'm so sorry. We gotta put limits. I personally think, and dare I say this is ageist, but like, I think 75. I also think like the fact old people should fucking retire. It is crazy that we are trying to push like the retiring age further and further because it's like, no, people deserve to rest at a certain age. Like Mitch McConnell, I do not like you, but I think you should rest because I also think you're an outdated bitch. Like, he snuck in whatever they're using to try and like whatever bill was gonna revive the government. I don't fucking know. Stop the government shutdown. Includes a THC ban on edibles and seltzers. And if you've been following this podcast or me for a while, you would know that you would fucking know. You would know that I am 4 years sober of alcohol. It is something I'm extremely proud of. And I know it's not great, but part of the reason is because I have marijuana. Because I still want to hide from some of the demons. I don't want to be someone that's sober that runs marathons. That's great for them. Love that for them. That is rock bottom for me. If I start running marathons, that is rock bottom. If I start waking up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday to go to Austin's like cold plunge and coffee and the runs parties they have, the runs party, that sounds like they're all pooping, which they might poop because you can poop when you run. People poop during marathons all the time. No one calls that self-hate. They're like, oh, they love themselves. You are still putting yourself in a position to poop yourself. You may be sober, and you know what? People who aren't sober that run marathons, good for you. You're running from demons. I mean, same with people who are sober that run marathons. I think you're running from demons, but like, whatever. Nonetheless, if you are putting yourself in a position to shit yourself, not just shit yourself in a public setting where you have to continue to be running in your own shit for hours, go to therapy. I'm not saying stop running. You do you. You do you. You do you. Everyone has their own different form of self-sabotage. Some people run marathons. Some people text their ex. Some people down a bottle of liquor. Some people shoot up. I don't give a shit what you got to do. I mean, don't shoot up. That's not great. I would say run a marathon over that, but like, you're probably a more enjoyable person to be around. I have people in my family that run marathons, and the more I hear about it, I'm just like, you don't have to do it, like, you can just not. Or if you do it, you can just not talk about it. How about that? I went through a whole year where I was doing ketamine and K-holing upstairs in my old apartment. You don't hear me talking about that. That's how I feel when you guys talk about marathons to me. I'm like, okay, cool flex. We get it. Some people have that though, anyways. And I have marijuana and working out, which, yes, marathon. Moving off on the marathon. Anyways, I am so grateful for my sobriety. But one alternative that I have loved to just feel like a normal person when I'm out and about is like these THC seltzers or like a THC margarita. I haven't had one till this year, 2025. I got sober at the end of 2021. And it was just so cool to feel like I was like normal around my friends. And I know that's like not the biggest thing in the world, but it is really nice to be able to not feel like a fucking loser when you're out. I'm not saying being sober makes you a loser at all, but like, I don't go out often. I'm not planning on going out more, but when I'm out, it is nice to have that option because I'm not trying to leave hanging out with my friends as fast. When I don't have anything except water in my hands, I do feel like, I'm like, oh, am I the buzzkill? But if I'm getting a little stoned with my friends while they're getting drunk, that feels really nice. It's like, it's cool. It's crazy that they keep trying to ban marijuana because we have kratom, which is perfectly legal. I know multiple people, not just one, multiple people who have unknowingly ingested kratom through energy drinks, mainly energy drinks, and like little things at the gas station. Like, they're legal to sell. And kratom is a synthetic opioid. And I understand why people who are getting off heroin and like hard drugs have to use it. Totally. It's a segue. However, normal people are now getting addicted to opioids through kratom. Kratom has become a gateway to the other way, like to getting addicted to things. And it's not safe. I don't know what laws they have about it, but the way they sell it everywhere is insane. And no one is doing a damn thing about it. But, oh, marijuana. Oh, the devil's lettuce. Oh, the devil's lettuce. God, you're going to smoke weed, kid, and you're going to go to hell. You're going to become a crackhead. You're going to melt into the couch. Which also, like, it's just, we're trying to demonize a drug that, like, has shown no real health risks. And also, I personally, I'm sure ingesting it as a drink has its own health complications in its own way because everything's going to give us cancer these days. But, like, I have asthma. My dad has fucking throat cancer. And I've seen too many people in my life get like bad lungs, whether it's through vaping or like, getting like just other health conditions through it, that I like drinking it because it's a nice way to not have to like fuck up my lungs. I love how far like science has gone that we now have weed seltzers and weed margaritas, but we have this old ass man who, I mean, he just shouldn't be. He's 83. He probably shouldn't have his driver's license, let alone be legislating in any fashion. It's truly like, you are my enemy number one. And by that, I mean, I'm going to talk about you on a podcast and probably tweet about you, but I still hope you have a good life, dude. I hope you have a good life not working. Because you're too fucking old. I mean, I know he's retiring and he's not running again. Because old men probably can't even walk that far, let alone run. But like, it's just so frustrating that you are creating rules for a world you eventually, One day, hopefully far away, I'm not wishing you any ill will on your life, but like one day, hopefully far away, like this isn't going to affect you, dude. It's just crazy that we have these people who are like going to eventually, like, they're older. They're not going to like, they're going to expire sooner than other people. They won't be living with the legislator with any of the legislation they are creating and trying to implement. It's sad. And I don't know. Weed is also like one of those drugs where it's like, no, we can compare alcohol and we can compare weed. Let's do it. Like with a weed, people get hungry. It doesn't just fund the marijuana industry. It also funds the food and gig economy too. Because, you know, people who are smoking weed, they don't want to go to a store to buy food. They want to order Uber Eats. Anytime I've been stoned and I like go out to order food, I get so in my head about it. I have to like rehearse my order in my head like it's a fucking monologue I gotta nail. It's my SNL hosting monologue and I gotta nail it. I get to the front counter and I order like a Diet Coke, and if they're out of it, I will buffer for like 3 minutes and then I'll ask for the same thing again and they'll still say they're out of it, and then I'll feel like a fucking idiot looking at everyone behind me and think in my head, they know I'm stoned. They know I'm stoned. I mean, this is a true story. This is 1000% true. I got so stoned on edibles. I believe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I got so stoned on edibles. I scheduled myself a dentist appointment and I started flossing. And here I am 2 years later to say weed got me to start flossing. And you know what? I went to the dentist the other day for the first time probably in a year and a half. And I only got one cavity. Okay. And that's on marijuana getting me to be conscious of my dental hygiene and my dedication to do it as well. But still, I'm just so frustrated with these old people in charge. Actually, so stoned, my ADHD kicked in, which I have diagnosed ADHD, not TikTok. No, yeah, I was put on Adderall at a young age. It made me fall asleep, so I stopped taking it. Yeah. Now, so we have that on weed. Weed, you just get stoned, you get hungry, you get the munchies. You might fall asleep and not really listen to your girlfriend complain to you about Becky at work. Okay, we got weed. Alcohol. And obviously, Mitch McConnell has alcohol money in his pockets because alcohol consumption, according to a bunch of articles whose headlines I read and didn't read the actual article, alcohol consumption is at an all-time low right now. But remember, I didn't read the articles, so it could just be a headline. But still, from what I can tell and have heard also on TikTok. Is it news? No, it's TikTok, but we're taking it as Bible. But alcohol, drinking and driving. When you're stoned and driving, which you shouldn't be stoned and driving, but I've done both. Drinking and driving is awful. And you have blurred vision and all this. I've never been so stoned where my vision is blurred. I also don't have a car, so, don't come at me for any of this. I don't do either anymore. I am not drinking, not driving, not smoking weed, and I'm not driving at the same time. I'm also not drinking, just in general. But yeah, so we have those two things. And it's just like drinking and driving, awful, ruins lives, kills people, ruins the person's life who's driving, ruins the people's lives who are involved. Drinking and driving, absolutely horrible. I think if you were drinking and driving in the year of 2025, and I mean, basically as soon as Uber was created, you are just a horrible person. I understand sometimes you might not be able to afford it. Then fucking buy a 6-pack and drink at home like a real alcoholic. You don't need to go out to pretend you're not an alcoholic. If you're drinking and driving, you're an alcoholic in my mind. You're putting your life at risk. You're putting everyone else's lives at risk because you're being selfish. I mean, I've seen in my lifetime a lot of like aggression when people drink. Some people, I've seen people get drunk and punch holes in drywall. Like, I don't know if the whole goal with like getting rid of weed and trying to get people to drink again is to get kids hit. Like, all I'm thinking was like, oh, cool. We're going to have kids being beaten a lot more often if alcohol is the only option. Like, it's fucked up. I just don't understand it. I'm sure it all just comes down to money. Whatever. As much as I don't like Europe, they don't have weed for that in most places, but they got free healthcare. A bad experience smoking weed is just getting really paranoid. A bad experience with alcohol is dying or killing someone else. I mean, you make horrible decisions. I used to get really hammered and I would just call people. I was so lonely and I was such an alcoholic. I would just get drunk and call people. I get stoned and I crochet and watch fucking Lifetime movies. It's lovely. That's my little rant. I don't know if I'm passionate about anything else. I don't know if I mean, I am in life, but like for this podcast, I'm trying to think of what else I have to talk about. Let me open Facebook. Oh, I love rage bait. Oh my God. I'm really into watching rage bait right now. My whole TikTok algorithm is just rage bait content and I love it. And I know that's wrong with me, but I love getting so mad and watching a cop treat someone bad through their body cam footage and then have them stuck with a huge lawsuit. And I'm like, yes, we won this one, America. Even though we had a bad cop. I love reading the comments that are like, don't worry, she got paid out. There was one I watched the other day where, and I'm not talking about like anyone being beaten, no police brutality, just a dumb police officer that doesn't know anything about laws. I hate watching ICE videos. I love rage bait. Can't get into watching, but that's just fucking chilling because it's awful. It's just crazy you can kidnap. I love ICE officers are truly, I talked about this on the last podcast with Captain, but like, it's really like, oh, they're like hella mall security. Like it's giving Rent-A-Cop, mega Rent-A-Cop. Like it's bad. And the fact that they're able to have guns is so baffling because I can't imagine how fast the training process is for them. Because like if police really, they spend like less than a full day on guns. How long do you think that whole thing is for ICE? Because it doesn't seem like they're trained at all. There's no way they're trained. I feel like they just give them a gun and they say, get them, boys. You get them, boys. They give them a gun and they give them a mask. That's really all they require ICE to have. Or like body armor. I'm not sure. Here's your gun. Here's your mask. And now get them. It's like they should have just given them a lasso at that point to corral all the Mexicans together for them. Because really, let's be honest. Like they're not going after European immigrants, are they? They're not going after a group of Swedish. They're not waiting outside the IKEA with some Swedish meatballs being like, come here, come here. No, it's really fucking sad. It's just so weird. It feels weird to live in this timeline. And it's like one of those things where I'm sure back in the day, they also felt that. But it's really, really interesting. And I hope I get to live to see the day where they're teaching this in history and everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, is that real? You guys had a reality TV star that was accused and found liable in court of sexual assault, who was also associated and listed in the Epstein files because homeboy is be president, and he did what? Yeah. Oh my God. And then try having to explain the fact that we have some guy who apparently put a worm in his head and is married to the woman that was in Curb Your Enthusiasm and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I honestly only knew Cheryl Hine from The Grinch Stole Christmas. I haven't watched Curb Your Enthusiasm much, but like I recognized her from that. But I was like, oh my God. Okay, so you're married to a guy that had a worm in his head and thinks autism is caused by Tylenol. Also, try explaining to someone 10 years ago that Texas is suing Tylenol over the fact that it's associated to autism, but it's not really. Like, it doesn't cause autism. It's crazy that these old white men don't see, and other people, it's not just old white men. I mean, other people obviously seem to believe in this weird shit about autism, where it's like, they're like, autism is more like there's something causing it. And it's like, it seems to be a lot of genetics, but also I think that it's not that we have more. I mean, yes, we probably have more autism because we do have a bigger population than we did 50 years ago. But like also science has developed and psychology has developed. We have gotten better at diagnosing it. More people are being commonly diagnosed with things now because, like 50 years ago, people weren't getting diagnosed with shit. You were either crazy or you weren't. They're getting diagnosed now. We also they mainly did all their studying in autism over young boys. So we now have the other half of the population, women, who are now able to get diagnosed with autism. Also, women are commonly not diagnosed with it because they're really good at masking symptoms. So it can take a long time for them to get diagnosed. There's also different varying, again, it's a spectrum. There's different levels of it. But yeah, try explaining to someone 10 years ago, 20 years ago, what's going on now. It's crazy. Again, the whole vaccine stuff, the fact that the people, it's just so funny because I used to think there were two different, I still kind of do. There's two different groups of anti-vaxxers. They're the they're the OG anti-vaxxers, and I feel like those are in Portland. They're like anti-measles vaccine, like polio vaccine and all that. And then we had like the COVID anti-vaxxers, and now there's like somewhere where it goes, there's like, it's like a Venn diagram. OG anti-vaxxers, COVID anti-vaxxers, and then they meet in the middle to meet the mega anti-vaxxers. And it's just all like crazy to me because it's like we have eradicated diseases and now we have outbreaks of measles again in the US, who like, it's crazy that they don't understand like that this is about other children. And there's such a small percent of the population that do have vaccine complications, but like obviously it does happen. It's not that there's not a risk. There's always a risk. It's just for the like immunity, the herd immunity, because at the end of the day, we're fucking animals. We're fucking animals. Wait, no, I think this was Lady Gaga. I meant to do Kesha Animals. God, I love Kesha. Just talking about autism and Kesha and vaccines. Fucking love. I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's fucking weird. But I mean, it's like interesting to witness if you remove the humanity from it and how sad and fucked up everything going on is. It really is interesting. Like if this were a TV show, phenomenal work. Insane. I mean, a podcaster gets shot and then his wife all of a sudden gets like to hang out with the administration at the White House a lot for God knows why. I don't know, man. It's really weird. It's really weird. And I don't know why we have like so many people who don't think it's weird. And that's alarming. I wish I could stop saying it's weird, but it's weird. I don't know. I do live in Austin, so of course it's going to be weird here. It's so funny. That's like the slogan of Austin. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. From here, left home for a little bit, moved back. And Austin has always been like a weird city. And then they really started pushing it after, I think, 2020. A little before, but after 2020 especially, because that year really opened up a lot more people moving here. Like Austin was already growing, but then when COVID happened, so many people moved here because we were like basically not locked down. We were locked down very shortly here. So a lot of people moved here. And so the Keep Austin Weird became really just like for commercial stuff to get people to move here, to seem cool and different. But we're not a weird city. We're basically like a more Republican version of LA now. Because like Austin is a very liberal city, but we also attracted like a lot of people that moved here were just very conservative people from California. Because if they really had all the money in the world, if you are that rich in California, you can afford to pay the state income tax. It's crazy to me, people. I'm like, if I was rich living in California, I personally wouldn't move to Texas. Because that sounds like if you are wealthy in California, it is, yeah, sure, is gas way too expensive? Yeah, but it's not like a huge deal that gas is expensive there for you if you're that rich. So we got like the people on the border being rich and middle class. I feel like that were Republican that moved here. It's also so weird how like once you get to a certain amount of money, you're like, I got to keep all this money instead of just like paying taxes. But yeah, we got a lot of those people. And it's really just... It's so weird. There's this new thing in Austin, and I've heard people talk about it on podcasts, but it is true. It's really weird. There's a big workout culture in Austin, and it's cool. Do not get me wrong. Go for it. Run. We have run clubs here. They have run clubs in other big cities too. We also, though, the thing that annoys me is there are parties where people wake up early. They go drink coffee and do ice baths, and they're all wearing match out workout sets. I'm like, you're not, personally, when I work out, I don't look cute. I work out in my garage like a criminal, but I had a gym membership literally for like 5 years up until I started working out in my garage a year ago. But I would never look cute when I go work out. I'm not going to the gym to look good. I'm going to the gym to literally fight demons. I just am trying to work out so I feel good where I don't want to kill myself. Like, that is why I work out. But then these people get up so early to go run with each other. I don't sweat. I glisten. And then to go meet boys and work out in the morning, and then they do ice baths. That sounds like hell. That sounds awful. I don't care how you try it. Like, cool, you guys have a DJ there. If you're DJing a sober event at 9 in the morning on a Sunday, that should be your rock bottom. You shouldn't be DJing that. You should be either DJing a bat mitzvah or DJing, I don't know, on 6th Street if you're going to be in Austin and be looking at really gross couples grind. Maybe I'm being a bad person by saying they should have to. That's their rock bottom. Maybe it's a good paying gig. I don't know. I'm happy that makes them happy. It's just that is the type of person Austin is attracting, and I don't like it. I think the one thing I miss most about New York, besides the walking in the city and everything about it, the food, the culture, the history, I really miss, because I love Austin. I love Austin. It's my hometown. Love it. It's a cute small city. I like that it's like a really big town, not a small city. That's part of what I love about it. I miss that New York attracts artists and like artistic people. And yes, Austin does in its own way. It has its own creative community. However, it's just not the same. Like, I love stand-up. I do miss seeing like a Brooklyn around, a place where it's like just different forms of comedy. Because Manhattan was really stand-up, like just stand-up. And I love that. Love stand-up. It's literally what I friggin' do. But yeah, that was a real life rewind. You're welcome. Instant replay. I have a problem. But I do miss just seeing like other alternative forms of comedy. And it's like cool, Austin is growing, and it is, you know, its comedy scene is growing. It's not just all, you know, edgelords. And I know I'm an edgier comic technically. I don't think I am. I think I have goofy jokes, but I do know I love a good rape joke. Not gonna lie. Love it. Don't love rape though. Not a fan. Put that on the record. Rape is not cool. Put that on the record. Rape is not cash money. It's not a cash money thing to do. It's not what friends do. But yeah, I miss seeing so many different creative people. I also think New York attracts a particular type of creative person that Austin just doesn't. And that makes sense. You're not going to get a bunch of conservative artists really moving to New York City. Right now with Mondani, which I don't love him because he's a politician and it's weird to be a fangirl of any politician. However, I am excited that he is going to be the mayor of New York City. Zoran Mamdani, I believe is how you pronounce it. But I'm very excited for that. But yeah, of course, people that are conservative and also artists aren't going to move there. Also, I can't really, conservative artists, I'm sure they exist and they do in their own way, but like, that's just such a weird phrase because I feel like most artists would tend to be liberal or like at least libertarian-esque, but I'm trying to think what a conservative artist would be because it's like a taxidermist. You know, it's like, okay, I guess that's your art, but it's fucking weird. You had to kill something for that? But yeah, I guess taxidermy would be like a conservative art form, I guess. I imagine there's more conservative. I could be wrong. You might be a liberal taxidermist, and I'll show me your work, girl. I'm actually part of a Facebook group page, which I love a good Facebook group page. I don't post on Facebook, but I love Facebook groups. I follow Bad Taxidermy. No, it's a group. I'm a part of a group on Facebook called Bad Taxidermy, and I love that page. There is so much good content. There is a bunch of taxidermied mice. They were the 3 blind mice. There is a butt plug, and it had a dead, obviously it's dead, but there's a butt plug, and it had like a squirrel head on the end of it. I thought that was fun. That would be my butt plug. If I could I would get that butt plug. I'm not into butt plugs, but I'd get that one. I'd frame it. I wouldn't even use it. I'm very liberal, however, conservative with my asshole. It bleeds red. That's a joke. I wrote it and I perform it on stage sometimes. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I love it. I love a Facebook group. There's girl groups on Facebooks. I was in a bunch in New York, and they have a lot of like walking groups. They're like, hey girls, we have a walking group. And so like, I understand posting for that. There's people who post apartments that they're trying to get rid of. There's people who post like events. And then you get, in every Facebook group, there is a smaller group of people in it who just post the most unhinged stuff asking for advice. I mean, I've seen betrayals. Like, you are getting all the tea. Some of them go anonymous. Sometimes they don't. I saw a girl who I was in a sorority with post on one of these, and of course it was unhinged, but this girl had 3 abortions in college. My ex-girlfriend got mad at me for judging her about that because she was like, it's healthcare. And it is healthcare. However, I believe at that point you're just being reckless and you should just get on birth control or use a fucking condom. Because 3 abortions is like, bah, bah, bah. You have 3 teardrops now. That's a triple homicide. And again, I think abortion should be legal. It's crazy how Republicans seem to think of abortions like the way pro-lifers think of abortions is so funny to me because it almost sounds like they think of them like they're Botox parties. Like, yeah, girls, I'll come over and we'll all have an abortion together. It's like, no, dude, an abortion is an extremely heavy thing for anyone to take on. I've never had one. I should have gotten one in New York just for the hell of it while I could, But I've never had one, but every single woman I know that has had an abortion in her life, it was an extremely heavy decision that still weighs on her, and they are grateful they got it because they needed it. However, it is a lot for them, and some of them are like, I wouldn't do it again. My old sorority sister, obviously not, but that's on, whatever. Get health care. Yeah, it's just crazy it's crazy to think how they view the world. I just imagine Fox News really puts them in a scary mindset and they're like, oh my God, them liberals want to take our guns. It's like, they're not trying to take all your guns. Them liberals, they want Mom Downey to enact Sharia law. It's so funny how many people who have never been to New York City and are never planning on New York City have opinions about the election and are genuinely terrified because he's in charge. He's the mayor now. I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah, I find it entertaining at least. Back to my thing. There is always someone who posts unhinged stuff on a Facebook group. And that's the person I love. I'm the person who's just like a fly on the wall. I'm on a fly on the wall. I'm reading all the posts. I'm a fly on that Facebook wall. Because it's called a wall on Facebook. I read one once where it was like, hey guys, I'm 3 months pregnant and I found out my boyfriend has a second family. Should I break up with him? And it's like, what? The question is, should you break up with him? You haven't done it already? It's also like, I don't think you're here for the right answer because I think you know the right answer. But it's also just like, oh my God, how do you get in that situation? That sucks. I'm not blaming her at all. I'm just like, how does the man get himself in that situation? Because in my mind, I think any man is lucky to just get one pussy. He gets to. That was my version of fucking. Every man just gets one. And that's impressive to me. Let alone 2. Also, like, to the finances of that. To live a double life, you got to have time. You got to have a lot of time, I feel like, because I live one life and it's a lot, okay? I don't like people who live double lives. However, I am fascinated by how they get it done. You must have a couple of different Google calendars so they don't see one, but also you got to organize one together on one for yourself. Different credit cards, I imagine, that the other person doesn't know, different bank accounts. And that's if he's being, really sneaky about it. But yeah, that was a Facebook post I saw. A lot of people post unhinged stuff. I highly recommend joining local Facebook groups. I imagine guy groups aren't as crazy with that because I see at least one a day on these groups, one a day minimum of a crazy post. But I imagine like guy Facebook groups exist. And if they do, I imagine there's not as much crazy stuff being posted, but the extreme It's probably a lot more extreme. I could be wrong. I'm just a girl. I don't know what it's like to be just a guy in the world. But I don't know. I filled a decent amount of time talking by myself. Maybe that's a bad quality of mine. I talk a lot to myself. I probably have a problem, but what can I say? A girl likes to yap. Wow. I don't know. I'm also in several Instant Pot Facebook groups. I don't have an Instant Pot, but I just like to see the food. It's really nice. I don't know. I love a good Facebook group. I also really love, I was talking about rage bait content. I love watching rage bait content, but I don't know. It's fascinating, and I hope to never have to experience one of those situations in real life. It's a scary world we live in, and crazy people walk amongst us every day. I know a lot of people are like, no, there's like more good than bad in the world, and I tend to be pessimistic, but I don't think I believe there's more good than bad in the world, but I do believe we have been in a pressure cooker. I think life is just rough for everyone in our own way. But sometimes we just have the worst of us come out because, sometimes it's our worst day and we just happen to see someone on our worst day in public. I hate spending my worst days in public. On days where it's a bad day, I just want to be at home because then it wouldn't be as bad, or at least if it is bad, I'd be alone. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm fucking tired and stoned, but thank you guys for watching and listening, and I hope you have the best freaking life ever. I hope you have a great week. I hope you hug your mom, and if that's not what you're able to do, hug your dad, and if not, hug your significant other, and if not, hug a friend, and if you don't have any friends, hug a tree, and if you don't have access to a tree, get access to a tree. And if you don't have access to a tree, though, that's really sad. And I don't know what you should do then. Hug yourself, but that's also sad. If the only person you can hug is yourself, that's okay. That's okay that you're sad. Manifest a friend. Okay, well, bye.